Enlightenment comes from allowing your journey through the dark shadows of death, the primordial of wisdom waters. For it is the treasures and mysteries that lie in the dark that transform and propel. One should aspire to live in the light, nor the dark, but should journey between in order to evolve the overall reality into a actualized creation. Knowledge is your light, as is your darkness. The bold interplay in your life leads to the treasures and your evolution. Woman, aspire to life in the light, nor the dark, but should journey between in order to evolve into a actualized enlightenment, transformation, darkness. The bold in your life leads to
I love you so much because you just don't know what you've just done for me. Thank you so much.
Wow, this is like the best call I've had in ages on BTR.
So this show was meant for me to be able to hear today. And so thank you.
Now, a new pathway has now been cut in order to get to the Almighty. You know what I mean?
I love you so much because you just don't know what you've just done for me. Thank you so much.
Wow, this is like the best call I've had in ages on BTR.
So this show was meant for me to be able to hear today. And so thank you.
Now, a new pathway has now been cut in order to get to the Almighty. You know what I mean?
I love you so much because you just don't know what you've
All right, here we go. Aside from all the confusion, welcome everyone.
They're up.
Okay.
You are now in the realm of enlightenment and transformation.
Welcome to Chief Speaks.
All music performed and produced by Yuya.
Enlightenment and transformation. Enlightenment comes from allowing yourself to journey through the dark shadows of death, the primordial abyss of wisdom's waters. For it is the treasures and mysteries that lie wait in the dark that transform us and propel us to a new enlightened state. One should neither aspire to live in the light nor the dark, but should journey between the two in order to evolve the overall reality into a self-actualized creation. Knowledge is your light as wisdom is your darkness. The bold interplay of the two in your life leads you to an enlightened understanding of yourself and the universe you've created. Male is your enlightenment. Female is your transformation. Child is your evolution. Woman, accept the light into your darkness so it may enlighten you. Man, bring your light boldly into the darkness so that it may transform you. Enlightenment and transformation.
I love you so much because you just don't know what you've just done for me. Thank you so much.
Wow, this is like the best call I've had in ages on BTR.
So this show was meant for me to be able to hear today. And I'm so thankful.
That's his home.
Therefore, now a new pathway has now been cut in order to get to the Almighty, where there may not have been one. So the communication with them, if they have enough power and strength, to talk to us, the communication will be very related.
That's one of the reasons I don't get into the encouragement thing too much, because it starts to become a perpetual alarm clock that we just keep hitting snooze on. I speak to the ascended masters, quote unquote. I talk about spiritual stuff, but I also speak about some very practical, we can do today things.
Be as natural as you can be with your spiritual. You can't always go by your feelings because your feelings are corrupted. Your feelings are just as corrupted as everything else, your chakras and everything else. You got to know what's beyond you, and that's why we have elders. We can't do everything. You can't get everything out of books or a weekend certification. You can have the most powerful, ancient, oldest, most, as far as you know, truthful tradition in your hands. And if you still have a dirty spirit, you're not going to get anything out of it. You're not going to learn anything. You're not actually going to grow. I try to teach in a way where I make myself obsolete. That's always been my goal, to make myself obsolete.
I really wanted to, kind of big you up. I think you're awesome.
There's a lot of elders out here right now that want to know what's going on. They're not getting on Twitter and stuff like that, but they want to be up on the new stuff. Sit down and have some conversations with them. It's not always about hearing their story. It's also about being news reporters for them and letting them know, like, yeah, this is what's happening right now. They may tell you something about what happened in Charleston that you couldn't even. Your spirituality has to create same spiritual family. Okay, and that family exists first inside of you. You have to express the different expressions of that rainbow coalition of spirits inside of you first. Okay, don't let communities hijack that rainbow. See, the problem is when we come into the conscious community, the dudes are doing the same thing that the women are doing.
I just want to say that I really enjoy your show every Sunday, and my friend and I call it going to church. When we call in, we'll be like, "You going to church?" And I'm like, "Where have y'all been at?"
God cannot go against its own truth. So anytime you have an inkling that God is going against its own truth, then God is no longer behaving as God. So therefore, the spiritual community doesn't recognize God. You dig where I'm coming from? Or can we have a new thought? Can we step outside of the books for a second and have a new conversation about hair weaves and wigs? Can we have a new conversation about homosexuality? Can we have a new conversation about vegan eating? It's a good day for exorcism.
347-945-7680. Call in and let's build. Peace, everyone. Welcome to another segment of Chief Speaks on Enlightenment and Transformation and High Frequency Radio, or I should say the High Frequency Radio Network. We want to give a shout out to all of those who are tuning in from our High Frequency Radio Network brother station, all of those who are currently tuned in from Enlightenment and Transformation, and of course all of those who are tuned in from YouTube or however you're getting it. Some of you just listen from iTunes, has been my understanding. So however you get here, or however you've gotten here, I want to thank you for being here. My name is Chief Yuya, and I am here with my snapping and popping co-host, Kim.
Greetings. Peace, everyone.
Cool.
How are you?
Well, how do I sound?
Alive and awake.
We'll work it from there.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll let you fill everyone in on, what has transpired the last 7 days.
Okay. Well, first I just want to say thank you to everyone that attended the Spiritual Gifts of Herbs webinar. It was really good. And I just want to let everyone know that we now have monthly webinars. So definitely check out anunation.org/events to see what's going on for the month. The next one that we're doing, the one that's coming up on the 12th of October, is the magic of essential oils. So we'll learn how to use certain oils in spiritual practices and how to use them to open up your pineal gland. So that I'm looking forward to that. So you can register at anunation.org/events for that one. And like you said, we're streaming on YouTube now on our Enlightenment and Transformation channel. So you can go to, just go to youtube.com, of course, and type in Enlightenment and Transformation, and it'll take you to the page. So if you have any questions and you're not listening via Blog Talk, you can post your questions or comments, or if you want to share something in the comment section on YouTube. And let's see what else is going on. There's a lot going on. We also have more products updated on the Alpha Omega Store website. So definitely, kind of go back and check that site out like every other day or so, or every day, if you are having a hard time finding some of the ingredients to some of the rituals, or if you just need some spiritual supplies, the prices are very, very reasonable. I know this stuff can get like really expensive sometimes, and a lot of items are hard to find, especially if you're in remote areas like Arkansas. Definitely check out Alpha Omega Store. We still have a lot of students and everyone signed up at osirislife.com. That's a really good service that you offer for monthly rituals or readings, you know, for people that need a little bit more, you know, one-on-one help. Definitely go to osirislife.com for those monthly services. And you want me to go ahead and do the recap, or you have an announcement?
Okay.
Okay. So on Monday, for Masterminds Monday, Sister Felicia and Brother Damon Ross spoke on the Golden Crust franchise, which is the Caribbean bakery business. And, you know, I really like this series that they're doing on just different businesses and how they got their start and how they're maintaining that success. So they are giving you some really good information on that and how to blend your spiritual practices with your business. On Anu Asafo, I spoke about the consumption of death culture, which is, you know, speaking on how sometimes we want to create things in our lives, or we want, you know, real relationships and, you know, real authentic everything, but we keep consuming a lot of dead things, dead food, putting dead things on our bodies, and just holding on to dead ideas and, you know, constitutions for ourselves. So I kind of went into that a little bit. On Thunderground Thursdays, it was a live show, and you spoke on restoration. And you were saying that, you know, restoration is basically bringing your original strength into manifestation, you know, kind of in terms of the soul. So one question that was really good that I heard on that show was someone called in and she asked about how do you balance balance yourself with this male energy if you don't have, you know, a man, or if you don't have any male energy around. And I know, like, sometimes we get calls like that here on Chief Speaks, and you gave her some, you told her that she should surround herself with strong male leadership. So that can be like listening to, I don't know, for me, it's like listening to Amos Wilson lectures and listening to your lectures. So you were just basically saying to, you know, kind of surround yourself by strong male leadership that she respects, and that'll eventually start to draw that into her reality. Foundational Friday, you spoke on anti-nature, but not in the terms of black and white like most people would think, but you were speaking about going against your original build, or the original intent of your purpose. So one of the examples you gave is like how sometimes you go through these initiations, and once you do this, it's like you go to this, you know, you're at this point of no return. You can't go back. And so you spoke of how sometimes when people come to you for initiations, you tell them to, you know, come back in a year. And the reason for that is being that you're giving them time to kind of say goodbye to that old world, because a lot of things are going to change, and you can't hold on to some of those dead energies. You know, that's kind of feeding back into Anu Asafo, is some of these ties you have to sever. You can't hold on to a lot of them. So that was a really good show too, and it was a live show as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really thank you for that recap.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah, I'm enjoying actually the live shows. I did 2 of them, Thursday and Friday. You guys know I usually do pre-records on Thursday and Friday, but this Thursday and Friday I ended up going live, and it was actually kind of fun. You know, so I think I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to carve out that time on Thursdays and Friday nights, because normally I'm doing other work around that time. That's why I do the pre-records. But I'm gonna try to carve out some time on those nights where I can just do those pre-records like that. I mean, I'm sorry, do the live shows, because of course on Sundays, a lot of times certain people, it gets too, depending on schedules, we have people who call in from all different time zones. So maybe this time doesn't work for everybody globally. So the 9 p.m. slot may work better for certain people, or I think it's also certain people are maybe not as scared to call on Thursday and Friday because they know, okay, I don't have the high frequency crowd and this crowd. So they feel like it's a little bit more intimate, whatever it is. I don't know, because I'm on this, the phone call. So, but I did enjoy it. So I said, yeah, maybe I'm gonna try to do that for a little bit, But someone I wanted to touch on. I actually wasn't going to touch on, but I think I am. And something was brought to my attention, and I observed something as well, just as early as last night. Sister Kim and I were perusing different YouTube videos and websites and stuff like that. And prior to that, one of my students I had a session with, the Strong, and we had a grounding session, and he was sharing with me that he noticed some of my material being reiterated online, and well, we gotta put it's Sunday dawning. It's the Lord's Day.
Okay.
So he had noticed that some of my material was being reiterated online without necessarily a reference point back to me as a source. And, he felt, I should be informed, which is cool, and I've seen this before. I mean, this happens, and it was one of my students, and that's happened before. And it usually is somebody who's a quote unquote student. And, I just I laughed about it with him, because I wanted him to know, like, no, it doesn't upset me. It's no big deal, because the bottom line is, as long as the information gets out, that's the main thing. Just get the information out. Is it cool? No. I mean, you shouldn't really do it. At least if you do that, say from so-and-so, I got this from so-and-so, you could check it out too. Or, hey, support that brother. It's a family movement, and he's, this is what he does all the time. But whatever, it's the bottom line, though, get the information out. So if that happens, that happens. I never go after anybody behind that. And that's been happening to me for years, many, many, many years. And I've never confronted anyone on that, unless the person was like a friend, and I might have said something jokingly, like, yeah, I heard you such and such lecture. Or some of these pastors do that to me who are my clients, and I say, yeah, I found some YouTube videos a couple of years ago of this one pastor, and it was like every reading we did together, because he used to come to me like every 2 weeks. I'm like, why are you coming so often, man? Your stuff is, we get pretty balanced. But he was coming to me for sermon topics. I didn't find out. So I saw something one day. I was like, let me look him up. I wonder if he's on YouTube, because he had a pretty sizable church. And I found him, and so all the stuff, all the jewels I was giving to him, he was giving to his congregation. Now, hey, at least they're getting it, at least. So that's how I kind of look at it. But and then last night we were looking at different videos and stuff of some of my quote unquote students, and some of the things that they're doing and whatnot. And the one thing I will speak on is this, so sometimes when we're going out there and we're trying to lead, or we're trying to teach, you have your core energy. Okay, you have your core energy, and then you have your outer ring energy, right? And your outer expression, or your male expression, is typically what the world perceives. Like we call it the sun sign, right? Your sun sign, your moon sign, and your ascending. If you're dealing with the astrology piece, but sometimes what you're projecting, people are not buying it. Like, I was looking at some of the student stuff, and like Kim and I were trying to get through it, and we were like, we were trying to figure out what's wrong with it. We were like, for some reason we're not feeling it. Like, what is this? What's the problem? And I just kind of closed my eyes and listened. I'm like, you know what? For one of them, for instance, I was like, you could tell this person they haven't totally bought in to what it is that they're sitting here telling us. in this video.
Yeah.
You know, no, your headphones aren't too noisy.
Okay.
I just couldn't type it while I was talking.
Okay.
So yeah, we were listening. It was like, yeah, and I'm like, they haven't bought into this, but maybe I might have said something that they were like, wow, that's deep.
Mm-hmm.
And then immediately it was like, I can get some followers off of that. If I just take that little concept that Chief shared, I can now go get some shine off of that, or get some followers, or really make some money, because all of these people on some level were selling some type of service, and the thing about it is too, with that, man, sometimes we're not as ready to teach as we think we are. Like as I'm watching some of it, I had to, I said to Kim, I said, remember I said some of these people need to go back and continue to be students for like another 20 years.
Right.
Because they're just that far from it, because their core value, their core energy has not aligned itself yet with this culture that they're saying has created so many shifts and moves in their life. Mm-hmm. And you can feel it. It's almost like when a salesman tries to sell you something, like you walk into, I don't know, wherever, Best Buy is one. And you can tell certain people when they're either interviewing for another job, or this is like their last day on the job. Like,
yeah.
Hi, welcome to Best Buy. How can I help you? And sometimes I mess with people. Like when I go to stores, I do it all the time to people. Like they'll say such and such, and I'll say, hi, how you doing? And of course they never tell you how they're doing, because they just have their little spiel, and mm-hmm. and like it almost becomes zombie like, and you can't really blame them. They're tired. They've been there, it becomes really robotic. You find out a lot with people, and I just reminded of it because I just saw my transit guy pop up on the back end phone board. But transit people do that a lot. People work at toll booths, because it's, of course, it's very robotic. Here, take the change. They see like 100 faces a day, so it's like they're not trying to have a personal conversation with every single person. At least not the people up north. I noticed the further I drive south, the friendlier the transit people. Like they'll talk to you. Hey, how's it going? Up north they got headphones on. Sometimes you pull up, it'd be a dude in there. He's rapping, like he's doing like hardcore rap. He's dancing inside the booth and going off, doing gunshots in the air with his fingers and just snatching your thing, throwing it back into your car. Like that's George Washington Bridge. You guys know what I'm talking about. Go up to New York, George Washington Bridge, when you're about to go into New York, and it's just like that. You getting no love at all. And then you have the cops right there on the side walking back and forth. They used to have a tank there. Right after 9/11, they had the tank sitting there. So you got a tank facing you with somebody dancing and jumping around, because it becomes robotic, and that's understandable. But you can always tell when someone really has a passion and a sincere acknowledgement of the truth for what it is that they're actually speaking about. And some of the work that we were looking at was like, nah, they don't believe this yet, and I'm using belief purposely, but they just figured like, okay, wow, maybe Chief said it, and a lot of people said Ashe, so I'm going to say it in my way and sneak it in. But you'll find that you can't build a business off of that. It's not working for you, because I'm looking at some, I'm like, nah, no one's buying this, because it's not sincere, and like that same student who I spoke to, he said something. He said, something like, I really enjoy the show, something like that. I said, yeah, even when I'm going off on the crying single mothers, and he was like, actually that was a different student who said to me, but he was like, yeah, even that. He was like, because it doesn't seem horrible from you. Because I was like, yeah, because it's out of love. It's like a big brother thing. I really mean what I'm saying. I'm not saying it because I want people to say, well, man, Chief crazy, I got to tune in next Sunday. Is none of that stuff like that. I really mean what I say. So I don't care if you plagiarize me, but whatever it is that you're saying from me that you're stealing, whatever it is that you're taking, just find the 1 or 2 points that I may have said that you are really feeling. And more importantly, the ones that you have lived through. Like right now, somebody might be like, yeah, because when I was in school, so-and-so copied my stuff. You know, I used to be a singer in the dramatics and they kicked me out and he took all my riffs. You know, it might be some Eddie Kendricks, you know, not Eddie Kendricks, Eddie Kane stuff happening from the 5 Heartbeats. If that's what you're passionate about and that's the experience that you really shared or that you really experience, that's what you come from. Come from that place. You know, and you'll be surprised. That will be the video or the service that you'll put up that will attract people in because you're always vibrating on that every day.
Yeah.
You know? So, Sister Kim, I know you want to say something.
Oh, yeah. And I think, you know, the more and more I see them, I just see so many people because I kept watching some videos a little after that. But I see so many people taking on this like archetype of the calm, cool guru that has, you know, that's super enlightened and everything they say is just like flowers spewing from their mouth and they're so calm and happy. It's just not, you know, it's just so fake to me. And it's like, you know, you can just, like you said, you can tell this is not something they're living every day. It's like something that it's an act. You can just feel it. It's, you know, and it's irritating. It's like, okay, I can't even hear you. I can't get through this because with the wind chimes and the flutes, and then you're talking like this. I can't even pay attention to what you're saying, let alone like really gauge if you're sincere or anything like that. So it's just an instant turn off because there's so many people out there like that.
Yeah. That's true. And I mean, let me say this to you. If you're going to act, like go there, like completely put the act on, because you never know. If you start really going into the act, you might become that. You might really start believing what it is that you're acting. Like if you're going to really do this guru, you know, and that's, that is one of the, like, it's always this lingering stare and this smile. Like I got this energy that you just could never understand. And, you know, and it's like, nah, man, you know, come on, you're a space cadet, you know, so the thing, but if that's really what you want to be and really what you want to present to the world, like completely go off into the abyss with it, because you'll be surprised. People will get with you. I'll give you a nowadays example that you can just go look for yourself right after the show. Look at pick anything. Brooklyn Zoo, ODB, Old Dirty Bastard. Look at Old Dirty Bastard, Brooklyn Zoo, and look at any interview or video you want of Young Dirty Bastard, who's his son, right? And what you're going to find is that his son is trying to be the crazy wild dude like his father, but he's just not raw like that. He's just not that raw. It's really not believable. But if you see it, you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. And I think he's going to come into his voice eventually, but he's almost annoying to look at. Even in an interview, you just want to like, what's wrong with you, man? But ODB, you never had that feeling like, what's wrong with you? You just was like, yeah, he crazy. And you just that where it was at, because you really felt like, no, he's really what he is. And I told my ODB story in another show before, but I met him twice. And like I said, the first time I met him, he was biting a light inside of a club. And this is before they were even Wu-Tang. They weren't even famous yet. This is just, you know, this is what he does. He was biting the light or eating it that came down from a strobe light inside the club by himself, no cameras, you know, just going hang, 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 hang.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah, that's what he was doing. He was just, and they was like, yeah, that's Ray Son over. They was calling him Ray Son at the time. That was Ray Son. And he's sitting there, hang, 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 biting the light coming down from the ceiling. The light beam, you know.
Wow.
So when I finally saw him and they made it, I'm like, yeah, that looks about right. That's about right. You know, so yeah, I just wanted to touch on that, you know, for people who are kind of doing things like that. Man, you know, just find a point that you really are feeling. You know, don't just pick whatever, but find something that you're really feeling, you really felt like you're living through, whatever, or feel like you're living through, and rock with that. And you'd be surprised, man. You know, you got to find your own natural voicing, and that's what restoration is about. And it may not be about you looking sexy on camera or looking cute or looking at peace, because you might not be at peace. You know, and some people, like, look at Sarah Sutton-Seti, clearly very angry, you know, and he has a huge following because some people are angry too.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that you're feeling, there's somebody else out there that's feeling. Some people are terrified. You know, some people are angry, some people are sad. There's a piece that you are projecting, a dimension that's going to always line up with a stream of cognition that somebody else is projecting. You can't really avoid it, you know, so you don't have to always put on these false personas and try to be what you think people consider to be the most stable thing. Like for me, if you come on here and you start talking ignorant, I'm going to shut you down. Now, that's my stream of cognition. And a lot of times what I'm saying to shut you down, and you know, it's not hateful, you know, and I'm not upset. Just so you all know, I'm like, my heartbeat doesn't even change. But the thing is, there are people out there listening who are like, I was hoping somebody would have said that to that person. I was thinking the same thing. You see, so be back to the intro, and be your natural self. But you know, be your natural self. And like I said, there may be something that I might even quote from one of my old teachers that I may not remember I got from it may have embedded itself for so long in my psyche. Like I may say something like, each one teach one. You know, like, nah, I didn't come up with that. You know, but I may say it all the time, but I really feel like that. You know, but find that point, find that pivot where you say, I don't care if it's one mantra. You only need one. You don't need to be super deep. You don't, if you put out 50 YouTube videos, to be honest with you, you could talk about the same thing 50 times. You really can, you know, because with anything in the world, once it becomes a strong emotional and embedded concept for you, it's going to become a spirit life unto its own. And once it becomes a spirit life, it's traveling the world and the cosmos, even when you're sleeping. So it's picking up experiences. Like you may say, this is my son. Okay, but how many dimensions are there to your son? So I could do a show every Sunday just talking about a boy or my son. You see, because there's so many travels and adventures that particular spirit or energy of my son is having, that I mean, look at church. Do right, get right, fly right. Every Sunday. Every freaking Sunday. And I'm just hitting it from different angles of how I do right. And Adam hid from God's voice. He hid because when he committed sin, he was no longer visible to God. You see, I'm just making up stuff. But, you know, I could just keep coming from the same. I'm talking about the same exact thing. Redemption, salvation. You know, when it's something that you're living and it's something that's embedded inside of you, these subjects can go very deep, you know. So you don't have to have 5 million things to talk about, because you're just going to trip up. And I was watching people. I'm looking at someone like, man, I can't even see this, you know. But I'm just watching some people just trip up, man. You know, just stick to one thing, man. Stick with what it is that you know. That's you know, and it may be a basic thing. Don't worry about it, because there's somebody out there right now who's struggling with the basics, and wishes that Chief would go back and explain how to clean a candle properly. I mean, he says take off the stickers and that, but he never really broke it down. There's somebody who just wants to know that basic thing. How do I select a candle? What do I clean it with? You know, like, and maybe you just show a video of you cleaning a candle. You know, every time I go to light charcoal, it keeps the spark from the charcoals keep knocking my candles out. Maybe that little bit of information they know is, you know, it's very difficult to light, you know, that activated charcoal with the candle, because it sparks and the sparks will blow out the candle. So use a lighter. Oh, you know, you could present so much value to people. You'd be surprised. You don't have to be me. And I'm not saying I'm the deepest or whatever, but, you know, you'd be surprised at some of the small things that confound people and that become a stumbling block for them. How do I find a black candle? You know, like I've told many people, take a black crown and melt that crown and mix it with a white candle. You got a black candle, you know, but now you got to know how to make a candle. Maybe you could share that information with someone. You know, you don't have to be super deep, because the thing is, nobody's buying it anyway. All right. So just, work with the stuff you have, and you'd be surprised how helpful it might be. All right. I'm going to take a call. 313. I think this is the transit, brother. 313, you're on Chief Speaks. He probably has it on mute, so the noise. Transit brother from High Frequency.
Can you hear me?
There we go. I figured it's on mute. It's okay. What's going on, brother?
What's going on? Peace. I got a question. I wanted to pose it the past couple of weeks, but I guess today was the best time because you were speaking about, the consciousness and being yourself and whatnot. But my question was, how would we deal with mental illness when we trying to help someone with a mental illness?
Depends on what the mental illness is.
Society doing.
It depends on what the illness is.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, the Western society got all these different types of descriptions of what a mental illness is. So, in a natural way, how would we, deal with it? Not deal with it, but address it.
Okay, I'm gonna put you on mute, and then I'm gonna answer the question. And my answer is going to start with the same question. It depends on what the mental illness is. There's a man with some people who have mental illness, they're schizophrenic. Some people are delusional. Some people have dementia, and they all come from different spiritual genesis. So you're not going to approach everything the same exact way. Western diagnosis is going to be for Western-minded people when it comes to mental illness. So that's one thing that you always have to be careful with. I mean, a Western doctor can't tell me sugar, honey, iced tea about my mind. Nothing. I'm barely trying to hear anything that they can say about my body, because everything that they told me that was supposed to happen at the age I'm at now ain't happened. I'm still rising with Ra. Every dawning I rise with Ra, and not because I have to urinate, anything like that. That was supposed to have been over, according to them. I mean, there's a lot of things. I still can do a lot of physical feats that, I'm stronger now than some of the things I was, when I was younger. Could lift some of the things and stuff. So, when you're using Western diagnosis to kind of diagnose a reformed African mind, it gets dangerous. You start hearing spirits and seeing spirits, you'll be told that you got multiple personality disorder. So my approach is always going to be approach it from your cultural standpoint and perspective. I'm an African man, so I need an African to tell me I'm crazy. Or an African to tell me I'm not crazy, and I don't just mean a continental African. I mean an AFRAKAN African. I'll listen to them, but a Western doctor, you can't do nothing with me. You can't do anything with me. I mean, I'll think circles around you, because I'm dealing with the root culture. You're dealing with something that was stolen, by fictitious people, fictitious characters in Greek history. That's where you're basing your information on. So that's my approach, man. It starts with culture. And if someone's not living my culture, I really can't make the diagnosis, because maybe they're not crazy for their culture. I always try to impress that upon people who have so much to say about other races all the time. Look at them. Look what they do. That's what they do. Whether it's shooting up a school or a movie theater, whatever it is that you think is insane, it may not be insane for them. You can't take on the mind of a colonizer and assume that whatever your perspective is in life has to be everybody else's perspective, because it's not the same thing that we're warring against. Isn't that why we became conscious? Because we determined that, we were oddballs. There was something different about us, So, in that sense, man, when it comes to any type of diagnostic work, and that's even spiritually, I'll give you an example. I had this client. Well, he's still my client, actually. Ooh, almost said his name. Let me slow my voice down. But he's a big Wall Street guy, big time Wall Street guy. And I started working with him right after he had just got out of jail. He had a bunch of DUIs or DWIs, and he had like his third DWI. They locked him up for like a year. So he started reading my material, and we would do counseling sessions over the phone, from the county jail. And when he came out, I was working with him. And he's an Italian guy, and funny guy too, but Italian guy. And working with him and trying to get him to some place of normalcy for him was a little different because, like, he was a cokehead before. I mean, drunk, typical Wall Street guy, cokehead, hookers, drinking, lying, stealing, the works. So I got him out of that. I started working with him and teaching him about the pineal and different things. And he was like so great. I even had him working out. He lost all his weight, so he was so grateful, so very grateful. And he was, one of the things he kept always saying to me was, why don't you charge more? He was like, I'm sitting here trying to figure out how do you live? How are you surviving? He would always say that. What do you like? Do you have other checks coming in? Like, well, how do you survive? You don't charge anything. And of course, he couldn't really understand that from a cultural perspective. Listen, based on the demographic that I'm most concerned with, which is my own people, I can't charge Wall Street prices. I'm not trying to be the Hollywood guru. I'm trying to make sure that people who wouldn't necessarily have access to someone like me has access. He didn't really get that. He was like, yeah, but I mean, you playing around, man. You could really be rich. He would always go back to that. So he said something to me one time that made me have to like really just be quiet and not say anything stupid back to him. But he was like, man, he said, I want to thank you so much, Chief, for everything you've done for me. And this and that. He was like, tears in his eyes. And he said, my life was a wreck before. He was like, man, you really helped me out so much. He was like, now, he was like, I feel like I can go back to some type of regular life. He said, I mean, once in a while I may bang a line of coke. And he was like, I may screw a hooker here and there, but, and that's it, man. Just live a normal life. So that's what he said to me. So I'm like, I had to keep a straight face. I was like, okay, all right. Okay. Because that was normal for him. You see, that was normal for his culture, whether it's Wall Street culture, whatever, power broker culture. That was in his culture. That's almost like being a monk. Now, in African culture, I'd be like, oh, wait up, man. The hooker's gonna give you something. Or I might be like, hell, you gonna bang a line of coke once in a while. I can see if you said you're gonna smoke a little weed once in a while, because that's a part of our culture. You see? So again, the diagnosis, you have to be sensitive to the other person's culture. And that's whether they're diagnosing you or as a priest, if you're working with them. There is no homogenous way to go about any of this. You got to respect people's ethnic origins. And that's why it's important to expose yourself to the world, to see what other people are doing so you can respect them. And then they may or may not respect you. Doesn't really matter much, but that way you won't flip when you see certain things, or when you see people act a certain way. You'll understand, nah, this is a part of your history. This is what you do. Of course, banging a hooker, yeah, that's normal because you told me that prostitution was the oldest profession. Mm-hmm. That's not an African phrase. So that's normal for you. You grew up with that. You see? Anyway, we're going to take another call. Actually, I'm going to go backwards. I know people are like, I've been on hold longer than it. Yeah. Well, sometimes I don't like to always go on the order. I don't always go on first come, first serve, especially if I recognize the number and I'm like, yeah, you didn't get about 50 questions in. So we're going to take a call from 804. I think this is Richmond. 804, you're on Chief Speaks.
Peace, Chief.
Peace, brother.
How you doing?
I'm doing I'm alive. That's what Kim said. She said I'm alive, so I'm along with that. Yeah. How about you?
Good, that's good. I can't complain about that.
Good.
I had a question. I think I had a delayed feed from Facebook, and then I called in, and so I don't know where the conversation is now. But I had a question. I don't even know if it's on topic.
It's no topic, brother. This is a freestyle cipher. We're just freestyling.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay.
Cool. Well, I wanted to ask you a question about, it's kind of in line with what the brother who called in earlier was talking about with mental illness. Kind of, but my question is, being that, you know, brothers and sisters all over, I mean, Africa, the diaspora, have sort of given up specific, sort of given up their ties to a certain way of thought, or even spirits, things, ways of doing things, culture, etc. Is it possible that, you know, maybe even mental illness or the troubles or the problems that we have is tied to or linked to, I guess, a sort of like a spiritual, or begging for a spiritual restoration that needs to take place in order for us to be whole again. So I don't want that to sound, I want it to actually sound more tangible than it probably does. I don't want it to sound new agey, but are there actual spirits and shrines that we've given up, and we don't even know about, especially in the diaspora, whether it's in Haiti or in America or Canada, or wherever we are? Because you see brothers and sisters now, even in Africa, who are, you know, as soon as their elder dies, they're giving up things or selling them to folks for money. So I'm wondering if that has some sort of connection to, you know, the lack of stability or the instability within our community, outside of economic empowerment and all these other things that people see, that I see as just, you know, kind of symptoms.
Right.
Is it more tied to those things as opposed to the symptoms? I guess that's my question.
You know what, brother? I would actually include those events that you're outlining as the symptoms of the mental insanity. You know, because again, that's an easy question. Who would sell my grandfather's? Your grandfather was a chief. What kind of crazy person would sell his stool? So we can already say that those things that are happening similar to those are the symptoms of the mental insanity. Of course, there's always a spiritual genesis to every mental or emotional issue that you have. It's a symptom of what's going on with you spiritually. But the thing about it is that you gotta again remember that the disconnect is not necessarily from certain spirits that would equalize the mind, if you will, or create this type of inner equilibrium where it's okay, now I'm whole again. The disconnect is from the soul, and the longer we're here on this planet, the further away we're going to go from the soul. You just can't avoid it, and it's a loop around thing happening, you know. So there has to be a rebalancing, and this is what the rebalancing is. You got the haves and you got the have-nots. So as much as some of us want to ascend to the higher places, you know, try to get back home, try to elevate our awareness, try to get our right minds back again, that means there's going to be just as many people and really more who are going to have to go in the opposite direction, because that's the law of correspondence. You know, the law of balance or the law of correspondence says that something goes up, something else must go down. So this whole, you know, now a lot of the romanticizer RBGs have this romantic vision that all black people are going to go up and all non-black people are going to go down. That's the way the movement is going to occur. But non-black people are not our counterpart. So the law of rhythm doesn't work with them. Because they're not our opposites per se. You know, that they're not our twin flames. So when we ascend and we get deeper and we get wiser and all that, that means there's going to be a bigger ratio of people who are going to descend. You know, and that's just that's the natural order of things. And then it's like a constant dissension until they have nowhere else but to go, but up. You know, if you look at right now, people always say, you know, as melanin dominant people, that some people say we made it, right? because they'll take a very small sample. They'll take 1 or 2 people and they'll say, well, look, it's, you know, it's always the same ones. We all know the names, right? Oprah, Michael Jordan, you know, Barack Obama. You made it. You know, they'll count about 6 people, then they'll start slowing. They'll start running out of names. But that's an example of something. So you got about, you know, 100 really, really rich people, really, really melanin dominant, rich and doing well off melanin dominant people in America. And then you got, you know, 3-5 million of those who are, you know, doing horribly. You know, that's the balancing. But you're going to always find that you're going to have more doing bad than you have doing well. That's how it balances. So that's why the conscious community is so tiny. You see, now, yeah, we could look at YouTube videos and say, man, that video got 20,000 views, 30,000 views, whatever. I mean, you can look at House of Consciousness videos and see that, you know, there's a force there, but 1/10 of those people watching those videos are actually conscious, are actually doing something. Maybe less than that. You know, the majority of the people watching are just watching for something to do because they want to feel what life is like on 125th Street in Harlem because they live so far away. They like listening to Polite or whatever because he's real smart, or they think Red and Blue Pill is sexy. I've heard that one before. The twins are sexy. I like watching them. You know, like I used to hear people say things about Bobby Hemmett. Like, yeah, that's my, one sister say, that's my entertainment. As much as this brother would drop, as much information as he gave up freely, that's your entertainment. You see? So that's the bulk and the majority, even of the conscious. So you're going to always find these rings of ratios where a few are doing the work and doing and excelling, and then the masses, even in the small communities, the masses of the small communities are disintegrating into a certain insanity. And it happens in a hierarchy going right on up. And then eventually you'll be in the gods realms, and then you'll see that some of the gods are manifesting on a high level and some are bugging out. And that's why you have certain natural and evolutionary forces on the planet that are bugging out. You see? So that would be my answer to that, brother. All right.
Okay. I appreciate it, Chief.
For sure. Give thanks. Peace. Yeah, the mental sickness is a deep thing, man. I've been talking about that for years, that we need to address that. You know, I'm with all the fun and beautiful spiritual experiences, man, but character is screwy balooey a lot of times with a lot of folks, and not just character, but and I'm glad, like when Joy DeGroat, Joy Leary, but now known as Joy DeGroat, when she came forth with her information, I thought it was so beautiful that somebody really not just touched upon, because it was touched upon before, but really made a whole series and program out of post-traumatic slave syndrome. And really just talking about mentally, we're not right. We could talk about the Orisha and the spirits for a second, but let's pull back for a second. Mentally, before we even get to that point, some of us are dealing with some serious issues that need to be addressed, or we're going to implode. And you can't hide from it, because in the conscious community, you can hide a lot of that stuff. You can live in a shelter, and just blame it on something like, I'm out of the matrix. So, I live in a shelter. I squat in abandoned houses. I don't wash and things like that. I don't use water like that because I don't want them to come near me. You can come up with all these different things, man. But want something in life, want something. So many people come into this community because really it is, they're slackers who don't want anything, and they create a certain representation, and that perspective is so non-African that you start losing your freaking mind. Yeah, it's a lot of craziness, but the diagnosis is so individual, and us not connecting with spiritual vibrations, certain spiritual vibrations, that's just a symptom of it. That's a symptom of it, because we're living in our head so much, we feel like the spirits have nothing for us, or don't have enough for us, or they don't understand. The spirits are like grandma and grandpa now. Certain things you don't even bring to your shrine. You'll skip all around the point, but you won't say, Why is it that I have 4 baby mothers and I can't seem to like get along with any of them? Why is it that I have 4 children and none of their fathers speak to me? What's wrong with me? You know, forget what the conscious community is telling me and I'm a queen and all that, because I'm obviously not. Or I wouldn't be, you know, slutting it up so crazy, male or female. What the heck is wrong with me? You know, what happened in my childhood or when I was in the womb that has me feeling this way about myself? Or even though I'm so conscious, walking around with feathers in my hair and crystals tied to my head, why do I still feel like garbage most days? Most days I feel like I don't even have a reason for living. But I can't tell anybody that because I talk so much crap to all my family members about being conscious and how they're not conscious. Now I done burnt the bridges. I can't tell them, like, some days I just want to end it. I don't even want to be here some days. So I have this romantic thing of going back to Africa. But I know I'm going to be just as depressed over there. At least over here I have access to my vices. You know? So yeah, that the mental piece is key. It's critical. Did you want to speak on that, Kim?
Oh no, I was just agreeing.
Okay. Cool. All right. Yeah. So, you know, I know we got a lot of callers on the air. We of course going to get to all of you very soon. But what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break, and then after this break, we'll be back with more Chief Speaks.
See you there, new-.
After this break, stop screwing up.
Please check out anu-bookstore.com for book releases from Anu Publishing, such as Grasping the Root of Divine Power, Solutions for Dysfunctional Family Relationships, and Natural Hair for Young Women. At anu-bookstore.com, you'll find books on the Orisha tradition, African religion, divination, cross-cultural relationships, and many more forthcoming titles. At anu-bookstore.com, you'll find works that serve your journey to evolution and high vibratory sustainment. The website is anu-bookstore.com. And now back to our segment. A New Nation presents live streaming video, where you will receive more lessons and more knowledge on spirituality and metaphysics. Check out A New Nation's live video stream at www.youtube.com/A New Nation and subscribe for the latest videos and information. Once again, the address for live video streaming is www.youtube.com/A New Nation. See you there.
The Alpha Omega Store is a family-owned and operated premier online store serving as your one-stop shop for all of your spiritual and self-development needs. At the Alpha Omega Store, we offer you hard-to-find spiritual and ritual supplies, books, DVDs, personal development services, monthly specials, international shipping, and more. From spiritual supplies to business products and services, our mission is to provide you with the tools that will put you on your road to success. Purchase your quality products and services today at alphaomegastore.com. Bring yourself to a place of spiritual and holistic balance with exclusive life design services at osirislife.com. At Osiris Life, we offer our members exclusive one-on-one instruction, including 3 monthly service level options to choose from, monthly spiritual consultations, monthly podcasts and videos, custom tailored development plans, spiritual work done on your behalf, life coaching and support, and working solutions with real results. Awaken to your personal greatness and purchase your membership package today at osirislife.com. And now back to our segment.
All right. And we're back, of course, with more Chief Speaks on enlightenment and transformation and high frequency radio. All right. So I want to thank you all for tuning in. Those of you who just kind of getting here, just tuning in. We're just freestyling. Anybody who wants to call in, feel free to call in at 347-945-7680, 347-945-7680. Or if you want to call in on the high frequency side, which is just as valid, you can call their call-in number and get us too at 424-222-5250. That's our high frequency radio brothers. All right. So I'm gonna jump right back into some calls. What numbers do I like here? I don't like the phone numbers. You guys. Nobody has any sexy James Bond.
Good ones.
So I'm just gonna close my eyes and kind of do an eeny, meeny, miny, mo. 216 area code. You're on Chief Speaks.
Hello.
Yes. Greetings.
Greetings, Chief. How you doing?
I'm well. How you doing?
Great.
Good.
I had a dream. I was hoping that you could interpret for me. I had a dream that I was talking to Cicely Tyson, and she was seated to my immediate left, and physically she changed because then she became small like a child, playing on my knees, moving back and forth, and there was a lot of laughter and the movement, and before she changed sizes, she moved to my right, and at that point, that's when she started like playing like a child, balancing on my knee.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed her complexion was almost jet black, and turquoise blouse on, and that was pretty much it. I kind of forgot the dream, and then one night it came back to me. So that was it.
Okay. So what do you feel your connection with Cicely Tyson is when you think about her?
I mean, as an actor, and but more so maybe her activism, her leadership. In the later years, I've heard her say some very profound things about being proud or her nationalism.
So when you had the vision, what was your first interpretation of it?
When I first thought about it, you know what came back to me, the fact that her size changed, and it was she became small like a child. And I remember once talking to you, and you said something about that was representing something
immortality,
old or ancestors.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was my first inkling was that was something from the ancestors trying to communicate with me.
Okay, so I would offer you this suggestion based on that night vision. Find an opportunity for you to serve as a Jegna to young children. Okay, and whether it's, you might want to look into doing some form of griot work or some form of jolly work. Learn some indigenous stories and find situations. It could be an after school program at a local school. It could be a home school that somebody has, or an independent school in your area, and find an opportunity for you to share stories, because what that vision is talking to you about is how you're going to go down in history, how you're going to be immortalized, and how you're going to be remembered. Okay, so it's saying that you will be immortalized and remembered as that Baba who deals with the youth, who deals with the children. That turquoise energy, that turquoise vibration that you were seeing was dealing with you tapping into another realm. You tapping into another realm to kind of pull information down. You need to learn a little bit about Ochosi. I did a show on Ochosi. you know, and you'll understand that a little bit better. But that's what that, if we're talking about just the action that's associated with that night vision, it's you becoming immortal through your sharing of stories with children. All right.
Okay.
All right, brother.
All
Thank
right.
you for the call.
Thank you.
All right.
You have a
Peace.
good one. Okay.
All right. All right, cool. Love me some Cicely Tyson, boy. I love some Cicely Tyson. I think she's one of the most beautiful women that has ever been molded and formed. She's like perfect. She I used to live with there's a house I used to live in years ago when I was much younger, and I was renting the basement out, and her nephew lived upstairs. He was renting a room, and I remember she used to come and bring him money and food sometimes. And I would I would always find a reason to be upstairs on the porch, you know, when I knew that she was coming, you know, just so I could like hold the door for her or something like that, and you know, be next to that particular energy. But yeah, Cicely Tyson, now she's a deity. It's plain as day. You know, it's undeniable. You look at her and it's like, nah, you're not. Nobody looks like you. You know, you're not human. You know, she's on a whole nother. She's one of those people who will always. She's cemented in, you know, like kind of like John Amos, cemented in the psyche of the Black mind. Will always be remembered, whether it's, you know, any of the roles she played, or like he said, some of the activism work. She's one of those people who are actually one of our luminaries. You know, type people that you call Orisha. All right, so we're gonna take another call. We'll go to Atlanta. 678 area code. You're on Chief Speaks.
Hey, Chief.
Greetings. How you doing? I'm well. How's everything with you?
I'm good. I'm good, buddy. First of all, I want to thank Sister Kim for a very empowering webinar last week, and I had a lot of fun and I learned a lot. So everybody is listening. I really encourage them to go and follow the next webinar. I'm sure it's going to be as empowering and powerful. So, and very informative. Thank you. I was calling about a dream I had. It's again about the issue ritual. I did the issue ritual. I've been doing it a couple of times, and last week I did it again, and that night, it seems like every time I do it, I dream I met something having to do with that energy. So, so that night I dreamed that I was given some kind of instruction by a teacher. I'm assuming a spiritual teacher, but I didn't see any face. But just the way it felt in the dream. So I was walking around, and it seemed like I couldn't find the path clearly. I couldn't. The path was confusing to me. So, and every time I found some kind of answer, the answer was not the final answer. It seemed like the answer was leading me to some other thing that I need to find out. And then in my confusion, I stepped into the house, and I was about to go to sleep. But and the house reminded me of the house of my mom's house when I was a child in Haiti. So, and I was in the living room, and I was laying down on the couch about to go to sleep, but the door was not closed. Instead of a door there was a car. There was a car in between the door, and so then I was worried maybe somebody may come into the house while I was sleeping. So I had my gun next to my bedroom. So while falling asleep, I felt somebody coming in, trying to come to break into the house. And then I took my gun and I asked who this was. So I was hearing the noise, steps, and so when I asked who was there, nobody answered. So, and then I could see a shadow. So I shot a warning shot. I fired a warning shot, and I saw this tall brother. He had a gun, so he had a beard too. So he also had a gun, but he dropped his gun, and then I woke up. So I really was trying to make sense out of this.
So what did you come up with?
When I first, since I'm working with Eshu is the opener. There's a door, but the door was blocked by a car, and I know Ogun is assimilated to technology and iron. So, and the brother also had a gun. So, I think it's some working with Ogun and Eshu, but I don't know. Me firing, I didn't fire a hit. I shot a firing shot, a warning shot. So I guess there's some conflict with Ogun. I don't know if my warning of I think the best thing I came up with is Ogun was trying to come in. If it's Ogun, I don't know how you're gonna interpret it. And I kept him away, and so that's what I came. That's something conflicting with Eshu and Ogun.
Do you have a special woman in your life right now, brother?
Yeah, the sister. I'm in a complementary relationship.
Okay. Did you share the dream with her?
No.
Share it with her, and ask her what her thoughts are. Don't ask her what her thoughts are. Ask her what her feelings are on that vision. Okay. And I'm gonna tell you that I'm not gonna tell you much. I'm gonna let your lady do what women do very well. But I'm gonna tell you that vision is dealing with you becoming your own man and becoming a leader for your family and yourself in your own right. I'm just gonna tell you that part. And don't tell her that when you ask her to. Don't tell her don't tell her that to afterwards. But just get her feeling from it. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Thank you for your call.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Peace.
Thank you.
No problem. Yeah, I know a lot of times I give like detailed breakdowns on the dreams and stuff, but sometimes certain people who have night visions, I hurt them more by giving them that much information. They need to kind of go through it a little bit themselves based on the nature of the actual vision. There's more to it. Like that vision was actually much bigger than he realizes. But see, when he talks to his woman and she shares her C on it, she's going to share it coupled with the admiration and respect that she has for him. So when she senses, and she'll sense it, that vision is about him becoming his own leader and not mixing all of these different quote unquote instructors and having all of this false subjugation to people who he doesn't really totally agree with. It should be like, baby, you know what? You just need to start your own class. Why don't we just start our own study group? Because that's what women do. They put that battery in the back. He needs to get it from her, not from me. I know he's still listening, but and don't tell your woman any of that stuff I just said. Hopefully she's not listening. Let her, she'll come up with it. Let her flow through it, and she'll share with you what needs to be shared. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna bounce back over to high frequency. Got a lot of callers on our lines. Skype call. Skidipe. You're on Chief Speaks.
Yes. This is my first time listening to your show.
All right. Beautiful.
And they call you T?
Yes, they do, sis.
I didn't understand. Is it just a name or?
Do you have a question, sis? Was that your question?
No.
Okay, what's your question?
Okay. You read dreams then, correct?
Sometimes.
Okay. I had a dream.
Mm-hmm.
It's just strange because I happen to have an echo.
Yeah, I hear a little
Let me
echo behind you, but we can hear you clearly. It may just be your Skype acting up. That's all. But we got you.
Okay, my echo stopped. Okay, because it's kind of hard to talk with my.
It's all right. You're in good hands.
So
Bring it on home.
Dreams last night,
Mm-hmm.
and it happened to come up on your show. And I wasn't gonna call in. I just wanted to listen to see what you were about and everything. But they told me to call and see what you had to say about this dream.
Okay.
There was I think I was fixing a window. I was fixing something on the back of the house. And there was some Mexicans had fixed the brick part of the house. And so while I was fixing the window, the foundation, the whole back of the house spilled down. And then it might not make sense, but anyway, after that, I went in the house,
mm-hmm.
and there was an elder man in there, and two of my brothers, and the elder man told them that I was more intelligent, both of them. I don't know why he said that. So I looked at my brother. I told him to hurry up and help the other brother. I don't know. And then I have one brother that's like sees things sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And he was in my dream too. And the elder man said, I see what he sees. I see it on the reflection of the TV.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all that I remember.
Okay.
What does that mean?
Do you have any sisters?
Yeah.
Okay. And in the order of ages, where do you fall at?
In the middle.
You're in the middle. Okay, good. What that vision was talking about was you being the spiritual foundation for your family. The elder man, when he said, you know, she's more intelligent than you two, he wasn't speaking about that. Elder man was your spirit guide. You had a beautiful opportunity. You got to meet him. You saw him. That was the spirit guide for the family. Mm-hmm. We have a name for in our tradition, but don't worry about all that yet. Just know that he's the spirit guide for the family. And what he was doing, that was almost like an ordination service. You know, where you ordain a minister. And he was saying that she right here, this is the one who will handle the spirit work for the house. Now, like you said, you had some people outside who were building the foundation of your house. Foundation kind of fell over, but you were fixing the window because the window deals with how the family is a house, how the family looks at the world, or how the family is looked at by the world. So it's dealing with your perspective of how the family is represented. You see, so you were dealing with that because you're the one. You're the representation for the family, and you have to build a foundation or rebuild a foundation, which is a better way to put it, because when you said some Mexicans working on a foundation, so that was indiscriminate. Which Mexicans? I don't know, some Mexicans. So that means whatever the foundations are that your family is currently sitting on, you don't know what those foundations are. You might have some skeletons and some skunks and all kind of stuff down there. You don't know. So you got to go down there yourself and see what's what and then rebuild it back up. That's what were being ordained to do in that vision. All right. Okay. Thank you for the call, sis.
I appreciate that, my brother.
Anytime. Take care.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Peace.
Okay.
Real strong Yemoja energy there. It was spilling out of her. You know. That's why she wanted to sun me first. What they go? What's your mama call you? I know she named Pete. trying to turn me into a little boy on my show. All right, so let's we're gonna go to Brooklyn, or maybe this is the Bronx. We're gonna go to 718 area code. 718, you're on Chief Speaks.
Greetings, Chief.
Greetings, brother.
It's brother Akil again.
Hey, peace, Akil. How you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Good.
I was actually calling in reference to what you were talking about earlier with the student that was paraphrasing or repeating your work.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, you know, you could blatantly call it plagiarism, but and the reason I wanted to call and talk about that is because I had a mentor a couple of years back when I was in Japan,
mm-hmm.
and basically I credit him with me even still being able to be in the military and having a family and really getting my life together.
Okay.
He did spoken word while we were out there.
Mm-hmm.
I saw him do a show, and I walked up to him after the show and said, "Hey, you know, I want to do what you do." So he's like, "Okay, well, you know, first you got to start with what you know." You know, and that he was like, "Well, you got to start with who you are, what you know." And a couple weeks later, we were at the same show. I did just another show in Japan, and basically it was like, "Okay, well, you know, you got your chops, you're doing your thing," and he broke everything down. Within the past, and it was about 2 years ago. I rocked with this brother for those 2 years strong. I mean, every day I was over his house. He would teach me something. He had a 5-bedroom house, and I was like, "Man, you made it," you know, that sort of
mm-hmm.
thing. Like,
mm-hmm.
I'm me still in my, you know, little boy Brooklyn mind. Like,
right.
Like this is really what
this
the world has to offer.
Right.
So, coming from there, it got to a point where we separated, and the separation wasn't from a point of malice or anything like that, but it was a separation from a point of, you know, poetry the way you do it, and this is me looking at him. Poetry the way he does it is who he is, and that's who he's supposed to be. Now I learned a lot of things by doing that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's my lane. That was my lane. So as time progressed, I started doing professional speaking. I started going to Toastmasters,
mm-hmm.
Started learning how to really build speeches. And now it's to the point where somebody would ask me, "Oh, well, what do you do for fun?" I was like, "Well, I sit down and I write speeches. I break everything down and I do it that way." And that's lead to me now where I was thinking about, you know, well, how do I disseminate this and do things my way, and, you know, the YouTube thing, and really, I haven't launched anything because I don't have the time being in the military and
right.
and the family. But I steadily building the material. But one of the things that I definitely try to do now is, if I know I'm going to write a speech on a certain subject, I try not to listen to people who speak on the same subject.
Mm-hmm.
Or, you know, if I'm writing a piece or a poem, a speech, anything, I'll try to avoid listening to my friend who's also a poet, because I know that's going to influence my work in some way.
Right.
Whether subconsciously or consciously. Now, I know that, you know, I think listening to me over and over again, I think, or not even that you do, but what you picked up from me before is just like, I think I'm really individualistic, so I don't want it to sound like I'm saying, "Oh, well, you know, you stop dealing with everybody, you stop taking in from everybody." But
no, I didn't say you were. I want you to understand. No, I said you were a maverick. So
okay.
Yeah, so not that you just like, I got to get all the shine. This is me. I came up with this by myself, because if that was the case, you wouldn't be in my class. So obviously you're saying, right. No, I do got to pull different things, but I have to draw up my own best conclusion. And I'm saying it's just a careful balance, but definitely don't think I'm like, because individualistic or individualism, that's some other stuff. And you're not that. I'm not that. We don't teach that. You're a maverick. I know what you are. You're a maverick, but we need maverick. Shango's a maverick. I'm a maverick. You know, we need some of that. So, you know, that's why I was like, yeah, be careful, but I'm not trying to discourage you at the same time. You know.
Right.
So
it was really so what I was trying to get to is really getting the understanding of, because like I said, I do that. I will, if I know, for example, I was thinking about starting a podcast, and one of the things that I was definitely thinking, I was like, man, I always listen to cheap shows during the week. For the week that I'm going to be doing this particular podcast, I don't think I want to listen to the show, not because it's going to be speaking from a conscious or a spiritual level, but I don't want to be influenced left or right to say, okay, well, this isn't my thought. I really want to identify which, where is this coming from? Is this what I believe?
Right.
Because people will see me. I'll argue things. I'll be honest. I love to argue, but I'll argue things that I don't even believe in purposely. But that's just from the standpoint of I love to argue. So when I do my speeches or I'm trying to redistribute information, I try my best to make sure that this is what I believe. And I just wanted to make sure that that was the right way to do it.
Well, I wouldn't say it's a wrong way to do it. Certainly there's nothing wrong with that. As you develop as a speaker, one of the things that you want to develop is a sense of synthesizing. And what I mean by that is being able to synthesize seemingly irrelevant information into a perspective that works for what it is that you want to present, whatever topic is that you want to present on. So like, I'll give you an example. One time, it was a couple of years ago, I was on a show and a woman asked me, how did I get started in spirituality? And I told her, by listening to Jimi Hendrix. And when I said that, she thought maybe she thought I was trying to be, eccentric or something like that by saying Jimi Hendrix, but I was dead serious. A lot of the concepts that I teach to this day in my class come from listening to Jimi Hendrix, as well as Miles Davis used to do it for me. And I would hear there were certain voices that came out of him. Now, he might not have been thinking that when he created it, but that's what was channeling through, So no, that's certainly not a wrong way to approach it. But as you really get deeper into this, what really makes you good at it, really good at it, not saying that you're not good now, but what's really going to take your stuff to the next level is your ability to just pull and pull and pull and then create multiple associations. So you may be doing a lecture topic on what the legal limit to legal blindness, at what point should someone be considered legally blind, for example. And you might go from there and start talking about nature and how certain animals can sense certain things, and but you have this breadth of information and content and data that you can pull from because you're constantly synthesizing, and it just gets stuck down there in the subconscious, and you can pull it out when you need it later. So no, I certainly wouldn't say that your method is incorrect. If it's correct for you and it's working for you, then rock with it. I tend not to listen to people who talk about stuff that I talk about, but honestly, because I don't really, there's not too many people I really feel like that. The people I really feel who I like to listen to, they don't even talk about the stuff that I like. There's certain comedians I'll listen to, and I'll get more fed from their political or social commentary than I will from some priest or Babala on YouTube. Most of them really just don't do it for me. So sometimes it's what moves you. I might listen to Gangstar. I'll listen to some old hip hop, some Gangstar, and I'm getting more on my lecture from just the energy that it brings into me. It takes me back to Brooklyn and this and that, than I will from maybe listening to, I don't know, Delbert Blair or something, talk about aliens or something. Maybe I don't feel like hearing that, So, yeah, you're not doing anything wrong, man. Just keep pulling from different places. There's nothing wrong with that. And you're going to draw up your own voicing. And in this day and time, brother, we need more people with their own voicing because everyone is biting off of each other. Everybody's scared to really say their own truth, man. And, and your instructor gave you, and I'm going to call him your instructor. Your instructor gave you some very good guidance in that sense. You got to do what you do. And as you grow as a man, there's going to be more stuff you do. Because right now you can talk about You can pull examples that your son has given you. You can pull examples of, maybe your wife whispered something in her sleep one night. She didn't even know she said it. She was sleep talking. And it might have sent you on a certain path. Everything in this world that you're encountering, even me, you created me. Whatever I am to you, you made that. Just like whatever you are to me, I made that. You see, because you keep telling me I'm in the military, right? But every time you talk, all I hear is Brooklyn. I mean, all I hear is New York City kid. Because you got a 718 number and you talk like I do. We both got the New York City accent. I don't know nothing about all that Army stuff or whatever. I don't know about that. All I know is, this is my New York brother. You see, that's what I created. Now, I could create something else if you shared more information. If I felt like it, I could be like, well, no, he's also a father, and I don't want none of that. This is my New York young gunner. That's how I see it. So you find that you create these different people in your experience in order to get information and data to synthesize. So, I'm not saying listen to my show, but definitely whatever it is I'm talking about, man, it's something that you created so that you could hear it. Whatever the angle is, however that angle hits you, you needed to hear that. Like whenever I hear you, I'm like, man, it's nice to hear someone get out of New York, travel a little bit. His brother was in Japan, beautiful. He's seeing the world. That's my biggest takeaway from everything you just said. Believe it or not. And you said a lot, but that was my biggest takeaway. Yeah, I'm glad the brother's traveling. You see? So it's all about what you synthesize, brother. But that would be my answer to that.
Right. No, thank you.
Yeah, you're more than welcome, brother. All right. Take care.
Will do.
All right. Yeah, that the like he said, he purposely tries to avoid being subdued and colored with someone else's perspective, and that's not unwise. That's a smart thing based on the things you may have to do, and we all have a varied mix of cultural experiences, and there's wisdom that he has that I don't have. There's experiences that he's had that I don't have. So you can't take on someone. That's like me sitting here trying to tell you everything about giving birth to a child. I don't have the wisdom of that. Brother Akil will never have the wisdom of that. We won't. We can observe it, we can watch it, but we don't know what it's like to have a child shoot out of us, or the feeling, the hours before, the days before. We don't know any of that stuff, and we'll never know. So that's why it's always dangerous when you look to be totally subdued by someone else's perspective. That's dangerous. You never want to do that. You bring good things to the table. We bring garbage to the table. Now, don't get me wrong, but we bring some other stuff, and we want to associate. Remember, I was talking about in that other show. I don't remember the title, but I was talking about something going to the next plateau, breaking through limitations, something like that. I don't remember the title, but that's what I was talking about. And I was saying that there's different phases of development. One being the first being the cognitive, the second being the associative, and the third being the autonomous. So, that associative stage allows you to take all of that cognitive information that you've been acquiring and now associate it with things that you're already doing and making it relevant, basically making it relevant to what it is that you want to move towards and what it is that you want to do. All right, we're going to take some more calls. Let's see. We'll take I'm going to let you take this one, Sister Kim.
Alrighty.
816 area code. You're on Chief Speaks.
Hello.
Greetings.
Greetings. To the guys. Wonderful. I was calling you. This is my first time listening, so.
Okay. We're just going to ask if you could get into your phone a little bit. It's a little bit hard to hear you. You're cutting up a little bit. Can you either get into your phone a little bit more? I don't know if you have a headset on or something.
I had it on.
There we go.
I just took it off.
That's much better.
Okay, wonderful. It was a couple things that I wanted to say, but I wanted to figure out what was most important.
Mm-hmm.
And it was certain dreams that I had concerning myself, but then there were certain dreams concerning my children. And at first I was on self, and I just went to children.
Okay.
I have a son and a daughter, and my children, well, I've decided I'm 25, and I have a 5 and a 3.5-year-old, and I've decided to homeschool my children.
Mm-hmm.
And as well as that, my daughter, she has a disability, but she doesn't have a disability. Cause I know that. But she was diagnosed. She was diagnosed with Dandy Walker, which is a fluid in the middle of her brain. And then she was diagnosed with hormone deficiency, endocrine problems. She was diagnosed with a piece of Down syndrome, which is 1A chromosome. That's what she was diagnosed with, as well as what was the other thing that they said? The Dandy Walker, the hormone deficiency, and a piece of a Down syndrome chromosome. Now, my daughter, she's pretty bright. And then they also told me that she was missing, I believe it's her cerebellum. It's a piece of the brain that they said sends signals from the left to the right side of your brain. But they said, but she didn't need it.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter is declared, my son is decreed. Now, my daughter, now I've went to vegan, and I'm doing that with my children as well. Because I just decided in my life that I wanted to give my children the best life possible, no matter what. And I came to the conclusion that it wasn't quote unquote Jesus, and that was a hard thing for me to accept growing up in the church pretty much all my life, and actually believing those things.
Mm-hmm.
I became more conscious, and I became aware of what was going on around me in the past few years. And now, well, I can say this thing. I can say this, that my daughter, they had a sleep study. They wanted to take my daughter's teeth out because she was eating a lot of different foods, candies and different foods. Now I'm like vegan. I gotta get her everything that's right in my son and myself. And so she had a bunch of stuff in her teeth, and they wanted to take her teeth out. And we was gonna go put her in surgery. And I said no. I decided no, because I started asking a bunch of questions, and everything wasn't adding up. And I kept this from my daughter, but somebody had told my daughter, and she's 5 years old. And she was at the babysitter, so when I came to see her, because I was at work, she was like, "Mama, I'm supposed to be getting my teeth taken out.
Okay,
and
can I
I
ask
looked,
you something?
I didn't know anyone had told her that.
Excuse me. I know that this is like really difficult for you. I can kind of hear it in your voice. Is your question about your daughter, or the services that they're the things they're trying to do to her, or?
Pretty much, I had this. It has to do with the things concerning her and this dream I had.
Okay.
Direction. I know I'm going in the right direction.
Okay. Can you skip to the dream?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
It was, I see. It's like I got her grandparents. They always go to the grandparents' house, and pretty much, I've seen myself running uphill with my children, and both of them are in my hand, and we're running uphill, and I see like the grandparents, like running behind me. And another one of the dreams is where we're in the living room setting, and I open the door, and pretty much it was like a snake, and the snake came in. The snake, like pretty much put his head over my daughter's head, like calling my daughter's head, and I hurried up because I was trying to close the door on the snake, and it put it like had my daughter's head, and then I took the snake's mouth and took it off of my daughter, and my daughter was still in condition, so I didn't exactly.
Okay. Are you a part of any type of community? Like, are you married, or is the father around?
I'm part of right now I'm on the part of, I feel like, the truth community, because I just decided to go that way. I just now started to listen to a high frequency.
Okay.
So
I mean, like, are you?
What I do now.
Okay, so it's not like an organized community. You just kind of floating out there right now, just trying to find some stuff.
Yeah, like I had got some information from some conscious people, and start doing that. I was going to church, and I was in the choir, and I just completely got out of all of that. So that's what I was holding on.
Where's the father of your children?
He's
Are you not together? Let me just ask that. You're not together?
No, we're not together.
Okay. Yeah, so this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm getting. Your daughter, you saying she doesn't have disabilities, but she does. She has some very serious health issues. I don't know, like, I know you're saying like you're trying to clean up, the diet and stuff now, but it sounds like it's kind of a result from maybe you weren't as conscious about your diet or what you were intaking, while you were pregnant with her. And to me, the grandparents, do you have like a lot of support from your parents with their children, or are they do you lean on them a lot for support?
That's a father's grandparents, but they don't understand what I'm trying to do, and that I know, like, my daughter has to take hormone pills every single day, and I know that they don't understand that I know that it's certain things she shouldn't be doing. And right before she was fit to go into surgery, she said, Mama, no, don't do that. She said, like, they gonna try to kill me, you know what I'm saying? So I just stopped the whole situation.
Right. One thing I would definitely say is I just feel like you're really lost right now. And part of that comes from maybe some type of guilt of the previous, guilt or something that you were dealing with during the pregnancy. Like maybe you weren't as responsible as you should have been. His parents are, you all aren't together, but his parents are taking care of, are helping you take care of the children, not your parents. So to me, that's...
I take care of them myself. So.
Right, but you have a lot of help, right?
They go over there on the weekends sometimes.
Yeah, I think, I really think at this point, it's almost like sometimes, like what Chief always tells us about taking accountability for some things. Now it's like you're kind of reaping some of the things that you were a little irresponsible with before. When you were pregnant and things like this. So now it's almost like we're just kind of grasping at straws, trying to find some kind of way to fix it. And so you're all over the place. You're like, let me try this vegan stuff over here. Let me get in the conscious community, which really isn't a community. They're just as disorganized. So you're going to be even more confused and lost because there's no direction. I would say that you definitely need to maybe find like an older woman that you can, or just a group of women that are a bit better at this mothering thing than you are, because it sounds like you're still young in that department. And you may need more help than you realize, and your confusion is really going to contribute to your children's health and just their mental stability as well. You know what I mean? Sometimes we can't admit that to ourselves. It's hard, especially when we've made children. It's really hard. But physical problems are a result of something much, much deeper, always. And so now these problems are kind of staring you in the face, and you have to deal with it. You have to be accountable for it. So instead of making further just random moves, trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work, and you're just kind of all over the place and have no stability or direction, you really need to just kind of maybe humble yourself a little bit and say, you know what, I do need some help. I can't do this. This is, take responsibility of your actions in it, recognize it, and just grab some stability, get some stability and some direction. Reach out to some other women, older women that, like I said, they have more knowledge in this than you do. Because I feel like the grandparents could possibly take the children because they see you just kind of scrambling and making a mad dash for just random stuff, just all over the place, and they can see that, and they can sense that they're looking at the children's health and the instability.
Okay.
It's tough. I'm saying that because I know this is like a really sensitive topic for you, a thing that you're dealing with. But honestly, that's what I'm getting. That's what I feel. You really just gotta, yeah.
Well, I respect what you said. I hope that the aura wasn't coming off wrong, but I would take heed to what you said.
Okay. I wish you the best.
All right. So that was a good answer you gave the sister. And I know a lot of times when we come into the conscious community and anybody presents to us an idea that calls for us and requires for us to reorganize and reassess the things that we're doing, we get offended. You know, sometimes we just don't want to hear it. You know, you can tell because you hear the all right, okay, all right in the middle while you're speaking. You know, but you gotta listen to those women who are a little further down the road than you, because you'll be real hurt when you have to go run to a babalao to get rituals done because someone's now trying to adopt your children up from up underneath you. You know, common scenario I deal with all the time. Listen, when somebody's talking to you, listen. You don't know everything. You don't know hardly anything. You got to listen. You know, so that's for the sister, because I felt her energy. She wasn't trying to hear some of that stuff because it, you know, she kind of, that's what she said, my aura is wrong. She kind of felt like, oh, you don't understand where I'm coming from. You don't understand my perspective. You got me sounding like I'm a crack mother. You know, but you'll see. You'll see when you get older and another sister comes to you with a similar issue and she's not trying to hear you, then you'll see what it is. No one's gonna force wisdom down your throat. No one. None of you are that important, especially on a free phone call that no one's getting paid for. No one's forcing any wisdom down your throat. Either you listen and you honestly and authentically take heed and apply it, or you don't. You know, and you just live a screwed up life. That's all. You know, but no one's going to force this wisdom on you. You know, so that's one of the reasons why we even started the whole thing where people call in and we just put them on mute and I answer the question, because people want to sit there and debate. Yeah, but I'm saying, nah, man, I know what I'm talking about. You don't. People come to me by the hundreds to understand who they are, for self-actualization, to understand who they are and what were they born in this life to do. So this is what I do. And the people who are on these shows, this is what they're being trained to do. And I wouldn't have them speaking to you if they didn't know what they were talking about. So for people who call and they don't know what the heck they're going to be doing tomorrow, and you're trying to show them and explain things to them and they're not respecting your expertise, I just always tell them, let them go by the wayside. Nobody has time for the hard-headedness. Especially as even we get older, and I'm talking about those of us who are hosting these shows, we have less and less time to play with people because we have our own missions that we have to do too. You know, I know you wanted to comment, Sister Kim.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you know, sometimes we don't realize like the damage is done. Some things you just can't take back. Like that child has some very serious health issues. So of course she's going to have some type of learning disability. And that's just something you got to face. You can't handle that alone, especially when you're just kind of all over the place and there's no stability. And it's very rare that if the woman has the child, that not only, you know, do her own parents not help her with the kid, but that the guy who's not around, his parents are helping you. So to me, that speaks like volumes. Like something is really off there.
Yeah.
You know.
And I mean, and that's not a condemnation on you, sister. I know you're still listening. Nobody's condemning you.
Right.
You're a young sister, so you're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna make more mistakes. You got a lot more mistakes in front of you. You're young.
Yeah.
You know, you're being judged. Yeah, you're being judged, but you're not being condemned. We have to judge one another. Just like when I do these shows, people will respond and say, great show, or I might not get a great show that week. That's a judgment. It's okay. But no one's condemning, like, take this garbage off the air, blah, 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 blah. You know, there's a different thing there. You know, you can redeem some of these situations, but you got to get around some more sane people. You got to get around some women who, just like Sister Kim, who just gave you that type of guidance, and it may not feel good. Because people who are going to speak to you lovingly, they're usually going to say things that don't feel good at first. You know, it doesn't matter that you're conscious and I'm conscious and I'm doing it this way and I'm, you know, that's good that you're going vegan and you're doing things holistically, and that can kind of counterbalance some of the things that are happening. But like she said, sometimes the damage is done and you're going to have to deal with the, you know, play with the cards that you were dealt and work from there and make the best of a situation from there. But you know, that's why I said you got to get a part of an organized community who's going to embrace you and your family. and say, okay, sis, you need us to go to the hospital with you, the surgery. You know, maybe you need another voice to talk to this little girl when she's crying and saying, Mommy, you're going to take my teeth out. You know, maybe you need some other women or some other men there to help you to explain, because it's emotional. You know, the worst thing in the world is to see your child hurt. When your child has a fever or is sick, you feel like you're sick. You wish you could just take, you could just have a fever. Just give it to me. Or just pull my teeth out. Don't pull her teeth, pull my teeth out. You know, so sometimes you're not as clear as you need to be. And that's why you need that community that would say, hold on, sis, I got this. Don't worry about it. Sit down. I'm gonna take the youth and I'm gonna talk to them or whatever, you know. And sometimes the church, I know you said you went to church, sometimes the church actually really does provide that. You know, a lot of times they have a much stronger community than we do, unfortunately. You know, it just is what it is, but that's what's needed, man. And, you know, just, it's good that you're now taking in information. You done got yourself unhooked from some stuff out of that matrix. That's awesome. That's excellent. And that is to be celebrated. Absolutely. But, you know, concurrently, you need as a young sister, because also, just so you know, you may not know this yet, but you will find out there's some wolves in this quote unquote conscious community. There's some straight up wolves out here. You know, you said you got a job. Uh-oh. That is a rarity, you know. So you got to be careful even in that sense. I would love to see you partner with a group of women. I would love to see that for you. Some older women, you know, and I don't care if they're conscious or not. So let me make that clear to you. Just some older women who can be loving towards you and give you a little bit of guidance. So just give you some support, somebody to cry to whenever it's needed, and, you know, or come over and watch the children. You know, you need to be around some older women who are going to give you these little nuances, who maybe could even go talk to the grandparents, because it's clear that they're not really into you that much for whatever reason. And maybe the father's incarcerated right now and, you know, he's not around, but you're going to need some more allies. You, like Sister Kim said, you're kind of out here by yourself, blown in the wind. You need more support around you. You know, you definitely need more support to kind of shore up the foundations. All right. So go back and listen to this show. When it's over, listen to the archives. Don't just be like, all right, and then go on to the next show, because you got a lot of good information. Go back and listen to it. Don't matter if you get mad or not. Sit there with a pen and paper and write down what was being said to you. All right. Okay, so we're getting ready to go into archives in about 3 minutes. I'm not going to spend too much time in archives. I know we got a lot of calls still waiting on the line, a whole bunch. So I'm going to get to a few of them. But yeah, let's jump. We're going to jump around a little bit. 201 area code, New Jersey. 201, you're on Chief Speaks.
Hello.
Greetings.
Greetings. I want to say that I have just been listening for a few weeks now.
Okay.
And I have a question that has been on my mind actually for a few years. My mother had her first child on February 12th in 1944. She conceived 12 times. She had her last child on February 12th, 1961.
99 seconds.
Then she died on February 12th. And when I realized all of these things had taken place on February 12th, I began to wonder, like, if there was some special significance to my mother's life.
60 seconds.
Happened. Well, ever since I was a little girl, my mother would always say to me, "You're just like me. Always pay attention to your dreams, and nothing will ever surprise you." And I've had several dreams where I've seen things actually come to pass as they did in the dream. So shortly before my mother's death, I had a dream that my mother was entering this sacred space, I guess. And it was just light. It was all light. There was nothing else there, but there were other women there. And as my mother entered the space,
10 seconds.
evident that she struggled really to get into this space. And the women that were there were her ancestors, and they greeted her, but they were so excited, and they said, "You did it." Excuse me, "You did it. You did it. We're so proud of you. You did it." And they just all embraced her. And like my mother was just crying tears of joy that she had accomplished this amazing feat. And I'm trying to get some clarity on that. And I'm wondering if you can help me.
Maybe. I could maybe I can. So let's go back to the dates, because the dates and the dream have everything to do with one another. Okay, so you obviously know that when you're dealing with February 12th, you're dealing with a palindrome, right? You know, so the palindrome is a number or a word that can be read from left to right or right to left, and it's the same thing. Okay, so that's that February 12th, right? So we got that. And we know that February represents, original form was Febraris, and that was the month of cleansing. So February represents cleansing, you know, and even cleansing of karma. And we know 12 to be the 12, I should say, to be the number of completion. Okay, so we put it together, make it real easy. It being that number of the completion of karma cleansing. Okay, is what the 212. So when you explain to me the dream, and she's going through this process, and then like you finally made it, what it implies is that she was cleansing not only with these births, because there were 2 births on February 12th, if I'm not mistaken. And and then
the first and the last.
Right. And then she transitioned on February 12th. So all of that is a palindrome, if you think about it, because something came in at 212, something went out at 212.
Yeah.
You see, so it's at 212, 212. All right. So what that represented is that your mother came down as like a spiritual warrior. And sometimes certain people come down in the line to, like, sometimes the line is a little messed up. A matter of fact, a woman called earlier about the whole dream with the window and the foundation dream. Yeah, it's very similar to that. Very similar. She's being called to be that person who fixes the foundations of her family line. So your mother was being called to be the one who fixes the karma of the family line. And she did that through synchronized births. And then she did that with a synchronized transition. You know, so that's that would be my cursory explanation of that, you know, without going deep into the numerology and everything.
I appreciate that.
You're more than welcome.
I knew that there was some meaning to it, and I just could not figure it out. So I do appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You're more than welcome. And enjoy your day.
You too. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, numbers never lie. That's what I always say. Well, let me stop. That's what one of my elders used to always say to me when things happen. He said, yeah, Haru, numbers don't lie now. The numbers never lie. You know, so he was right. You know, he was into the numerology. He's kind of got me into it a little bit, numerology, but he would always say, no matter what we're dealing with, the numbers don't lie. You know, so you want to pay attention to those numbers. Obviously, she had some very divine occurrences as it relates to numbers in her life. All right, I'm gonna try to take a couple more of these. I'm not gonna get to everybody because there's just a lot here. I'm trying to look at numbers that I haven't seen in a while. You know, but okay, we'll just take this. We got a lot of East Coast. Let me go to another coast. We got a lot of East Coast. All right, 4-2. No, I'm sorry, you don't even have your hand up. I just unmuted your mic to harass you. You know, let me go to some people. We got a lot of people with their hands up though. Actually, here, let me take this one. This one's had their hands up since the start of the show. 615, you're on Chief Speaks.
How you doing?
Hey, peace, brother. I'm all right. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
All right.
I was wanting to know. I remember you had a caller last Sunday, and she was asking about why on an airplane that the passengers are called souls and manifest, and the definitions behind all of that.
Right.
Well, I used to work at Delta, and like it's interesting that she said that. But when you had a soul is a passenger, and the reason they name that because on your manifest you have cargo and you have freight. Freight on aircraft is anything that's over 100 pounds. But airlines like Delta and the major airlines, they transport something called HRs or human remains. So you'll have, so like you'll have, let's say Jane Doe, but Jane Doe is being buried in Minnesota, but was, died in Memphis, and the body's being transported. So that's considered HR, that's considered freight. Then you have HR that's not freight, like an urn or something, somebody like that died and was cremated. So that's human remains, but it's not freight. Then you have live organs, which is not considered a HR because it's still alive, but it's not a soul because it's not connected to a human.
Right.
So that's another form of cargo. And then you have live cargo and you have live freight, which is animals.
Right.
So that's considered live. And so but they're not considered souls. So that was the kind of the usage of the term.
Right. The motivation behind it.
Aircraft. I don't know.
No, that's
but
good
I don't know
info.
if they got anything to do with ships.
Yeah, no, that's good info. I bet you there's another piece. Now, this is me reaching. So before anybody says, yeah, this is, don't take it as truth. But I bet you some of this came during the Ma'afa. I bet you. Because it was considered that Africans didn't have souls. We weren't humans. So I bet you some of that terminology. I mean, you'd probably have to dig deep if it even is true. This is just me. Something just flashed in my. I'm reaching now. If it's even true.
I think it has to do with stowaways because if the plane was to crash, and they just give a list of the humans that was on the flight, you have to see, okay, this person died, but no, that person was already dead.
Right.
If the person is stolen away, you would never know it.
Yeah.
You was on the manifest, but you wasn't a soul.
But you could also look at like an enslaved African who's called a Negro, a dead object, because they were considered to be
human freight.
So yeah, it will be right. You could almost look at it like it's a soulless human freight, like it's just a dead body. You got 150 people in the bottom of a ship, but they're dead bodies. They have no souls. You only counting the crew. Maybe there's 20 people on there with souls. Maybe I'm reaching.
No.
I'm reaching though.
Yeah, no, they would be live. They would just consider them freight, just like for example, like dogs, right?
Right.
Dogs are live, but they don't have souls.
Yeah, they would be cattle.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, maybe, maybe it might. But thank you for that, brother. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, let me say this too. When you're reaching, tell people you're reaching. Sometimes I hear some like teachers and stuff on the air. You're like, yeah, because the Moors, they people always everything to the Moors. I'm like, come on, man. You reaching s'mores, because when you're dealing with s'mores, it's the chocolate with the graham cracker, but then they are melting the white energies. What that represented was when the Moors came through Europe, they were impregnating some of the white women there, and they were melting that white vibration. See, because that's where they got the name s'mores from. I made that up, but
we got some Oswald Bates stuff going on.
If you reach and tell people you're reaching, like just be honest and say, listen, maybe I'm feeling like could have been this, but I don't know for sure. Because people will run with that. That right there would be a zinger in a lecture. Somebody would throw that up and I'm gonna hip y'all to something y'all don't know about. Well, people like, wow, that's deep, man. That's deep. I never liked s'mores. I knew there was a reason I never liked s'mores. It's too complicated, So, like I said, I'm reaching. So when you when you're reaching, just be honest about it. I'm gonna try to take maybe just a couple more, because we even last show we went to like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
So, you know, maybe y'all are used to that now. But the show is only 2 hours, just so you know. So every time we're going over like this is me just being gracious.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. You know. All right. So 954 area code. You're on the high frequency side. 954. You're on Chief Speaks.
Peace.
Peace, brother.
Yeah, I don't have a dream or anything, but I just want to know what you have on the website.
Okay. On.
Well, I was just basically on just really getting information, name or birthday or any vibration.
I can't hear what you said too clearly, brother. You said a birthday or something?
Yeah, I don't have a dream or anything. Maybe you give me any insights on my name or birthday or something.
For what? What do you need the insight for?
No, I just thought you was giving a reading on this.
No, I don't do readings on the air, but even if you wanted a reading on the air from somebody, make sure that you target and purpose them to something. Don't do the general stuff like that, because you're not going to get anything of any value. Now, people will do it because it's easy. You know, you give me your birthday, you could give me okay, give me your name. Andre. Okay, so you know when we dealing with the vibration of Andre, we could break it up in two pieces. We have An, and then we have Dre. And An represents the vibration from heaven, just like the Anu or the Anunnaki or even Anakim. So we're dealing with the higher light vibration, and that vibration of Dre represents you to the earth, because Dre is another name for soil. So when we dealing with Andre, we're dealing with that vibration from heaven, or that light from heaven being encapsulated in soil, which is basically the representation of a person. So basically, brother, I'm saying that you're an angel here on earth. You see? So that was worthless. You know what I'm saying? That was worthless.
Okay.
So you get my point?
Okay, well, speaking of dreams and
Nah, forget. Nah, I got to go to the next ones, brother. When you call back next strong, just come back with something directed, because we got a lot of people waiting and we're already in archives. So I don't want, you know. But let that be. I'm giving you that. I'm giving you that though, as that is your lesson. You know, that focus and target your spiritual questions. That, you know, think on that, focus and target. That's your lesson. Okay. All right. Thank you for the call, brother.
Gotcha.
All right. We'll hear from you next time. Peace. All right. Yeah. You know, I can be just as slick as the rest of them if I wanted to be, you know, but that's not what this is about. So you got to be, you know, when you come into somebody, and I understand the brother thought that we were doing readings or whatever. Yeah, that's fine, you know, but just a note, a word of caution only. A lot of people can make a lot of different things connect with each other, even when they don't really even connect. You know, they can make a lot of stuff sound good, and it depends on the speed and the inflection of their voice. And especially if I put some flute music, like Kim was talking about earlier, I said it real slow, and I said, Andre. Andre, if you see the vibration,
yeah,
I got to smile, and if I say, see, when I first say on, you see the vibration of my mouth and how the wind comes out, and then Dre, and you see the wind coming out with Dre. But when I say Dre, it forces me to put my tongue in the middle of my mouth, Dre. So that deals with the balance and the equilibrium coming down from on and balancing on the earth's surface. Sound like spoken word artist. My black queen, let me put my staff into your lustrous earth. Nation building. All right, anyway, let me stop. All right, so we get another call. Let me see. Some of y'all just gonna have to. I'm sorry. I'll get you next time. 757. 757, you're on Chief Speaks.
Hi, Chief.
Hi. What does high mean?
Andrea.
Hi, Andrea. What does high mean?
Huh?
What does high mean?
What is high mean?
Yeah, what does it mean?
The greeting.
Yeah, but what does it mean?
A greeting.
It doesn't mean a greeting. A greeting means a greeting. What does high mean?
How about hello?
What does hello mean?
Uh-oh. It's courteous.
Oh, that it means it's courteous. See what I'm saying? Don't you get on YouTube and start doing any teaching videos, okay? All right. You got a little ways to go. I'm here with you.
I didn't say I wanted to teach on the word high.
Okay, it was just making sure. Okay.
It's just something that everybody says.
Yeah, we should do what everybody does. You're right.
You want me to say greetings?
I want you to say whatever you know what it means. Just give me something you know what it means and use that.
Okay.
What do you got for me? See what happens?
Transformation, brother.
Okay, transformation. There we go. I like that better. That feels good. That feels good. What does that mean, though? By the way,
it means you're changing. You're changing.
What's changing?
Form. You're changing.
Okay, good.
Knowledge. You're changing ideas.
All right, you're reaching. No, you're reaching. You had it right the first time. Don't start preaching. You started preaching and messed it up. You're changing form. That's it. Leave it right there. We good. You started preaching and went off.
Form.
No, yeah, that's it. Changing your metabolism.
She's about to go guru on you. She's about to go guru.
Eyeglass prescription. No, just change it form. Just leave it right there. Stop reaching.
Okay.
All right. So how can I help you this morning, sister?
It's so funny. The last caller's name was Andre, and I'm Andrea. So I know that's probably similar.
Doesn't mean nothing. It's just a common name.
Listen.
I'm with you.
My family, there's definitely gifts in my family that have to do with, clairvoyance and psychic and all that. And I know that I have some abilities too. But I have a 22-year-old daughter, and she has gifts probably stronger than mine. But she's choosing to ignore them right now because she's young. She's 22 years old. And she's had these incidents happen to her, and I don't know what it means. And it's when she was a little girl, she had a table that used to sit in the living room in front of the TV. She didn't have any water. There was no water around her. There's no pipes, no leaks in the ceiling. She was scribbling on a piece of paper, and all of a sudden some drops of water appeared on it. That was the first incident. The second time, she was in her room with a tutor, and she was sitting at a table in the middle of her room with this tutor, and all of a sudden these drops of water appeared on her blouse. And it freaked the tutor out. The tutor ran out.
Mm-hmm.
And the third time, she said she was driving, she could swear that rain was just falling on her car, but not on anybody else's. So what does that mean, and why does that happen to her?
But you said that you were intuitive. You had gifts.
I am intuitive, and to me, it felt like almost like stigmata, stigmata, or
yeah, you messed that up the first time. I like how you came back and fixed it though. That was a real good save, because I don't know what stigmatado is. Yeah.
Why are you messing with me? Do I have a spirit that says?
Because you feel playful. You feel like just a big ball of cotton today. So I feel like playing. Yeah. So so she had a stigmatado in her eye, right? She had a stigmatado in her eye.
Oh, stigmatism. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's right. Spiritual. It's related. Mm-hmm. I don't know why you asking me about some water dripping on your daughter. You the psychic. You just called and started the conversation telling me how psychic you are. And now I got to break this down for you?
I there's something in my family. I'm just starting my walk. I guess
You just starting.
Because
You started walking a long time ago, sister.
Things that happened to me. I forgot who I was, but I'm coming to find out again who I am and why I'm here. I know I'm a healer.
How do you? What have you healed? How do you know?
Well, people around me, people are drawn to me.
Yeah, because you're funny. You got jokes.
No, I'm not saying a word.
I'm
I'll be in
laughing.
the grocery store, right? And I'll be in an aisle,
Mhm.
and I'll be by myself. And all of a sudden, I look up, and there's like 8 people on me. I'm like, where does these people come from? And why does this keep happening to me?
That's because you in the freezer section and your nips are all over the place. Next time, put a shawl on. That's what that is. Easy. Ta-da! Magic. Abracadabra. Yeah, you break this junk down yourself. You calling me with something that happened 3 decades ago with your daughter. It's some old school. Frederick Rerun Berry was still alive when this incident happened.
It just happened to her the other, like a month ago.
Then you two witch psychics, break it down.
She's driving now, so she's older. Huh?
I'm not even answering this one. Y'all two witch psychics, y'all break it down yourself. I ain't getting wrapped up in y'all mess. Nah, I'm not getting wrapped up in this. No, I'm not. She'll be all right. And you know what? Like, it's water. Who cares? Is she gonna save the world? Maybe she got a superpower.
It comes from nowhere. How are you gonna be in the middle of a room with no water?
Because she's able to manipulate the water molecules in the air because she's a child of Olokun. This is obvious. She's a water child. Have her watch movies about Atlantis. Done. Come on, this was easy. In Atlanta.
Movies about
what's going on with you today? Atlantis. Atlantis. Oh my goodness.
I know I'm back. I'm from Atlantis. I know I was there.
Yeah.
I know that.
All right, Andrea, you got enough out of it. You got enough. You don't need nothing else. You good. Enjoy your day. Goodness.
Bye. I love you.
Love you too. Bye. Yeah, I'm gonna do me a favor. When y'all call from now on, I'm gonna need you to smoke the blunt after the show. Do me a favor. Okay, it's only 2 hours and change. Just smoke the blunt after the show. Thank you. And you're gonna talking about, oh, my daughter got a superpower. She can shoot water out of her fingers. You know, I'm trying to sign up for the X-Men movie. And I mean, come on, what that got to do with anything? All right.
She had an astigmatism. That's what.
Yeah, she got a stigmato. Stigmatato. Stigmatato. The stigmatato.
Staccato.
Kept going. Staccato. You know, she over there freaked out. Yeah, she needs to join URL Battle League. She need to battle. Coming up with all them words so quick. New words. Sound like Keith Murray. All right. 905 area code. You're on Chief Speaks. People got their phone real far away from them. Yeah. You here?
Oh, you know what? I don't even know how I got onto the. I didn't press anything.
Okay.
Sorry.
No problem. We'll go to
the show.
We'll go to the next one.
Peace to
It's
both
cool.
of you, okay?
Peace, sis.
Right.
No problem. We got a lot of people. Don't even worry about it. Thank you. Maybe we just needed to hear a voice today. So we'll call it that. That was an offering of, you needed a Caribbean accent today. I'm gonna go to yeah, because this one I can rush her. I can rush her. 917, you're on Chief Speaks.
Shatavia. Is this Shatavia?
You know it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, with all the niceties, let's just get to it. Come on.
All right. So
So to get straight to the point, everybody's going crazy about Mercury retrograde. But lately in one of your shows, you have said that Mercury retrograde is actually a time of power for melanated people.
Right.
So you briefly touched upon it, but I just wanted you to know if you could elaborate more on that, and also where can I find more information about that for myself?
Just study melanin. That's all. Mercury. You need to study what Mercury is as an element. Study the planet Mercury. Its makeup. See, a lot of this stuff, I'm gonna tell you. You guys be thinking I got like these. I mean, I do. I'd be lying if I didn't say like I had like really good spiritual grimoires and had good conversations with very deep and powerful people. But you know, some of the most profound stuff I got just out of like science textbooks. You know, and you just learn to put two and two together. But you got to learn what that mercurial aspect is. You know, forget what everybody's talking about Mercury and retro. See, that's the stuff that screws you up. That's the hex. Right. And people don't know what the heck they're talking about. I'm telling you, Shatavia, you and I have spoken about this before. People don't know half as much. I mean, and half is generous. Half as much as you think they do. Everybody says Mercury's in retrograde. They go on Google. They find a bunch of images about Mercury being in retrograde, and this is what we need to do. They post all over Facebook, and now they're an authority on it, and they don't know what the heck they're talking about.
Panic.
They don't even know what. Ask them how many even own a doggone telescope. Try that one. You see what I'm saying? Now I know you feel like I'm probably not answering your question fully, but instead of just answering your question directly, I'm going to make you brilliant. I'm going to give you a answer that makes you smarter. Get yourself a telescope.
I appreciate that.
No, you don't. But get yourself a telescope. And if you know what, and what's even a lot of times better than a telescope, get a monocle. Because sometimes the lower end telescopes, you can actually do a better job with a pair of binoculars looking at planets. Because, you know, some planets you can see, like you can see Mercury without a telescope, but you got to look right when the sun is getting ready to set, because Mercury is right next to the sun. Right when the sun is getting ready to set, you can see Mercury, and right when it's getting ready to rise, you can see Mercury. Now, if you have a monocle or a pair of binoculars, then you can see it clearly, and Mercury will start communicating messages to you. But I'm telling you, half the people tell you, "Oh, Mercury's retrograde." Well, ask them to define the word retrograde. What does that mean? It just means we can't. Communication's messed up. Why? Why is communication messed up? What kind of communication is messed up? If I know that 83% of my communication is nonverbal, which one is messed up? You see? That's so you want to go deeper. And I'm telling you, don't even share what I just shared with you with people yet. You go on the journey yourself for a minute and then come back with the information. You know, whether it's like, you know, I'm going to stare up at the sky tonight at, you know, sunset, and I'm going to try to check and peep if I can see Mercury, and then let me see how I feel when Mercury is apparent. You know, how do I feel right around sunset? How do I feel right around sunrise? Because I'm telling you, you look up at the moon, you look up at certain planets, you're going to see some stuff. Planet gazing is an amazing experience. I'm telling you guys. And telescopes are not that expensive. And if you can't get a telescope, or you can't get a good telescope, get yourself a good pair of binoculars. Then they're much cheaper than telescope. And I mean, you can also look in people's windows too, for you know, perverts out there. But you can look up and you can see the planets. You can see Venus at certain times. You know, stargazing is critical. I'm telling you, Shatavia, it will make you deep. You will grow leaps and bounds, you know, beyond where you are right now. Just interact, because it's just like when you go out in nature, you interact with nature, you get smarter. Like little insights come to you, little ideas. The cosmos and the heavens are the same thing. It's the same type of experience that you can have. You know, so Mercury in retrograde, you know, go to the science aspect. You can speak to Kim. You know, Kim is an alchemist. She's a chemist. You know, ask her to explain just some of the properties of Mercury to you. You know, understand the properties of melanin, understand how they're related to each other. And then when Mercury is in retrograde, learn what that actually means.
That word.
You know, what does it really mean to say that the element of Mercury or the planet of Mercury is in retrograde? What does that mean? Not the parenthetical definition where it's, well, it means we can't communicate. No, I want to know astronomically what's happening. And then you'll have some deep stuff to talk about. All right?
Okay.
Okay, I know.
Thank you.
You up. See, that was a sad okay. She ain't like it. All right.
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm muting. Yeah, I'm good. Well, it's fine. It's whatever. It's whatever. You like my answer. Y'all never like my answers. All right, so I'm gonna take maybe one more. I know we got more people, but another New York 917 area code 917. You're on Chief Speaks. Yeah, everybody was on hold for a long time, so I know they kind of stepped off from their phones. 917, you're on Chief Speaks. Give them like 3 more seconds. And nothing. All right, so I'm gonna mute that. All right, so yeah, I can't get to everybody in this show, but you know, maybe one day we'll extend it. The cool thing about the YouTube stuff and stuff, I could just keep going and going and going and going. And I want to give you guys also the heads up again and remind you that starting, I think, November 1st. Yeah, November, or as Andrea would say, November. Nah, I just mess with Andrea. But November 1st, we'll be broadcasting Thunderground Thursday, Foundational Friday, Mastermind Mondays, and Anu Asafo solely on YouTube. Okay, some of the episodes you may still throw up on Blog Talk. Thunderground Thursday, Foundational Friday. I'm sorry, I still will be broadcasting on both platforms, like I did. Because I was just gonna go straight to YouTube, but I kind of like what I've been doing the past strong, where I was able to take calls and broadcast from YouTube. So I'm gonna actually rock that for a little while, at least for those 2 shows. But Mastermind Monday and Anu Asafo will be going straight to YouTube. Please comment on the videos. The comments, I actually read those every day, just so you know. So I read all of your comments. I got a little app on my phone, so it's easy for me to just scroll through the comments real quick. It's easier than when the comments are like in a chat room or whatever on Blog Talk. So please comment, like the videos, share the videos. Like I said, that is one of the greatest offerings you can give, is share them. You know, and subscribe to the channel. I had to get on y'all about it before. Hit the freaking subscribe button, man, so I can get a real URL instead of that long behind stinking thing. You know, I got to comply with the YouTube. I know it's a brand new channel and we only got like 4 videos up there, but come on, show me some love. You know, hit the subscribe button so I can so they can approve me for a real URL, so I can then just say in the commercials, go to youtube.com/enlightenment transformation. It's so much easier instead of saying go to youtube.com and search for enlightenment transformation. It just doesn't sound right. Okay. Remember that we have the herb webinar coming up next month. Yeah, that's what I just said. What did I say? I said oil. Your phone probably like blinked out right at that. Yeah, you know, you gotta get that checked out. Take it down to Apple Store. Yeah. So the oil, we got the magic of oils webinar is coming next strong October 12th, right? And you know, for those of you who definitely enjoyed the last one, you're gonna enjoy this one even more, because we're kind of ramping up, and what we're building up to is the webinar that we're going to be doing on alchemy in November. Okay, so these are the ones you need in preparation so that you'll understand what the heck we're talking about in November. All right, so you want to definitely make sure you go to anunation.org and RSVP for said webinar. Anunation, ANUNATION.org. Oh, and let me help our customer service queue a little bit. You want to sign up for classes, just go to saduluhouse.com, SADULUHOUSE.com, and there's a link there right there for classes. If you go to the store, click the store link, you're going to see our new spiritual training phase 1. You can sign up right there. I know a lot of you are very new to Enlightenment and Transformation as a network. So, because we get new people like pretty much every day. So sometimes I have to repeat, like, this is how you sign up for class, because you're still sending those emails in. It's okay. I understand. And for readings, a lot of people say, I want to get a reading with you, Chief. I want to work with you, Chief, blah, 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 blah. All of the sites have a book me link, and even these shows that we do, if you look at the description of the shows, whether it be through YouTube or through Blog Talk, you're going to see a link for readings. You could just click that, sign up for readings. Even on my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Haru, I think .y.Assaan. I think it's dots in between. But if you just search me on Facebook, not too many people have my name. There's a book me or appointment, like book now link. So you can book appointments from there. So there's a bunch of different places that you could book appointments. But again, I understand a lot of you are brand new to the network and to just our new nation. So you didn't know that we had all of those different sites and all of that stuff happening. Orisha information, you can always go to orishareligion.com. And even on that site, there's a book me link, and there's it even links you back to everything is there. Everything is on every site. So any site you go to that we have, with the exception of like our new bookstore, our new bookstore, any site you go to, you're going to be able to link to some type of services or something like that. Okay. If you still need to send a customer service email, no one's going to chew your head off, but I just figured I'd help them out a little bit. All right, everyone. So thank you for listening up until this point in this time. And we'll be right back this strong with more enlightenment and transformation segments. Until such time, peace.
Peace.